So first thing I want us to do is write out the 3 formulas that we need. Those are going to be the first 3 questions on the test. And like usual, I'll come around and make sure you all have them correct. Let's just put them up here at the top. The first one is slope. So what is our slope formula? I'll give you a hint. There's a fraction bar.
y2 minus y1.
Good. You weren't even here last time. Nice. Over.
X.
Perfect. Subtract y, subtract x. And then you can just type it in the calculator. It'll spit out the answer at you. Then we've got our good old y equals mx plus b, which is what all your answers should look like. Like that's the format that you want them to be in when you are finished with the problem. And then what's the last one? It's y minus, y minus y, we put a little 1 there, equals slope, parenthesis. So it's y minus y equals slope, x minus x. Write it down. That's the first 3 questions of the test. You just got to be able to write them down. I'll come around, check them. If they're wrong, I'll give you the right answer. So you're good for the rest of the test. You can look back at them. All right, write the equation that goes through this point and has a slope of 3. You have all the ingredients. You just need to put them in the right place. It would be y minus which one of those numbers? 3. It's because that's the y value of our point. Do we see that there? Okay. Y minus 3 equals, and then what ingredient comes next? 3. The slope, weirdly, they're both 3. Parenthesis, x minus 2. And then you're just going to rearrange that. It's 2 steps. What's the first one? Distribute. Perfect. I know you're watching, but write it down too. So that would be y minus 3 equals
3x minus 6.
Perfect. And then you want y alone, so what's your last step? Add 3. So it'll be y equals 3x. Negative 6 plus 3 would be negative 3. There's enough 3s in that problem for everybody. Like every number in that problem was a 3. Oh well, this is what it came out to. All right, number 2, we're going to write an equation, an x-intercept of negative 4. You want to write that as a point, something comma something else. So if your x-intercept is negative 4, it would be negative 4 comma 0. Good. And then the y-intercept is 10. So we also want to write that as a point. What would that be as a something comma something? 0 comma 10. So for the x-intercept, the number goes for x. Y is 0, and for the y-intercept, the number goes for y, x is 0. What do we not have? Like, what are we missing? Good, perfect. You guys are gonna like ace this test. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, just have to write it down too. So we're gonna subtract the y numbers. That's these 2. So it'll be 10 minus 0, which would, yes, just be 10. And then on the bottom, you would have 0 minus negative 4, which would actually be plus 4. So 10 over 4, and then does that reduce? It does. They'll divide by 2. 5 over 2. Good, perfect. Now you can just write the answer because you have the slope and you have the y-intercept. You don't have to do any of this work. Now, if you forget and you do kind of work this out, you'll still get the right answer, but I'm just trying to save you some work. It'll be y equals what? What would we just find for our slope? 5 over 2x plus 10. Good. If you notice that you have the y-intercept, you don't have to do any other work. All right, write the equation that goes through these 2 points. I'm also trying to save you some work here. I'm not telling you to be lazy. I'm telling you to be efficient. Do you understand the difference? Oh my gosh, do you notice how both of the x's are negative 2? That means your answer is x equals negative 2. It's a vertical line going through negative 2. So if you notice that, that'll save you some work. What if both the y values are the same? It'll be y equals whatever that number is. Okay? Write an equation, slope of 0. Oh, we should play our Quizlet game again. Yeah, well, maybe we'll do that today too, because this is going to be real short. If it's a slope of 0, is that horizontal or vertical? It is horizontal. For zero slope, it's horizontal. So your answer is going to be
Y.
y equals whatever the y number is, which is -4. I think this one's the same. What do you notice about these points? They have the same y value. Do you see how the y values are both -5? So y equals -5. We love it. Or was it a question? Or to clarify it? So if you're paying attention and you notice that, that's going to save you some work, okay? So write an equation for the data in the table. I would write these as points. That's my suggestion for you. And I'm not going to give you bad advice because the tests are a lot easier for me to grade when all your answers are correct, okay? I'm not going to lead you astray. Write them as points because it'll just look nicer that way. So we've got -3, 4 and 0, 8. Ooh, what's really nice about that? It's the y-intercept. But what do we not have, unfortunately? Slope. Okay, so we have to find the slope. So subtract your y values. That's these two. So it'll be 8 minus 4. And then what goes on the denominator?
0 minus 0 plus.
So good, it'll be 0 minus -3, which will be 0 plus 3. And then you could just type that in the calculator, but again, let's work it out. 8 minus 4 is 4, 0 plus 3 is 4/3. And you can just write your answer because you have the y-intercept, it's 8. So how would we format our answer? Y equals 4/3 x plus 8. Beautiful. Again, like you'll have all the ingredients, it's just putting them in the right place. All right, now we're getting into parallel and perpendicular. Let's review that real quick. If two lines are parallel, what do we know about their slopes? They're the same. Perpendicular means you have to do two things. You make it opposite. So if it was positive, you make it negative. If it's negative, make it positive. And then you also, oh, good vocabulary, reciprocal, but you flip it in other words. It's like you flip it over. So make it opposite and flip it. All right, circle all of these choices that are parallel to this. Okay, what's the slope of this line? -3, and parallel means the same. So we want to circle all the ones that have a slope of -3. Now, what I would do is look for ones that are already in this format, this y equals mx plus b, and see if they have a slope of -3. Do you see any that are like, here, let me like call these A, B, C, D, E, F so that we can like actually talk about them. So which one do you see that's like in this format? C. And does it have a slope of -3? Cool, we want that one. There's one other that's in that format.
No.
Do you see how B is y equals mx plus b? Is the slope -3? No, so we do not want that one. Now there's one other that we can do before I go to the calculator here. Do you see D, this one right here?
No.
Because that's y equals, oh, what kind of a line would that be? Horizontal. I heard somebody say the slope would be 0, not -3. So we don't want that one.
What about A?
Now, A, you have to get y by itself first. So what would you do to get y by itself? Like you want y alone. You have to rearrange it. Yeah, you would plus over the 3x. So you would get y equals 3x plus 4. So it has to be y equals mx plus b for you to be able to tell. So what's the slope of that line? +3, not -3. So we don't want that one. Now these others, you can rearrange them if you want, but what I was going to suggest instead is just go ahead and type them in the calculator. I'm going to share my screen. If you go to Desmos and type it in, what's E? 6x plus 2y equals 4. Does that have a slope of -3? You kind of just look at it and count the little boxes.
Yes.
Yeah, do you see how it's going down 3, right 1?
Yeah.
All right, so we want that one, but wait, I have a question back there, so hold on. So we do want that one. Go ahead. You would not. Oh, that's a really good question. Let me put G on here. Let me make up another one. Say it was x equals -3. If it's x equals, what kind of line is that? Vertical. What's the slope for vertical? undefined, not -3. So we would not want that either. Correct. Well, unless it says the slope is 0 or undefined, but correct. Yeah, you just wouldn't want those ones. And then let me type in this last one. -3y equals 9x plus 12. Is that slope -3? Let's see. I zoomed in a little far. I kind of don't think it is. I think it's sort of off by a little bit. Or wait, is it? 2, 3. Oh, it looks like it is going down 3/1. What do you guys think? Does that look like -3? It looks like down 3/1 to me. Yeah, it's going down 3/1. I don't know why I'm overthinking this. Down 3/1. So we want that one. I don't know why my brain started overthinking that.
Plus like every number in there.
Right, like they were all kind of like off by a little bit. All right, 8 is going to be the same kind of thing. Circle all the ones that are perpendicular to this. All right, what's the slope of this line? -1/3. So we want a perpendicular slope. So you're going to change the sign. So instead of negative, it's going to be positive, and you have to flip it over. Now that's a little tricky. What do you get if you flip 1/3? 3/1, which would just be 3. So we want to circle all the lines that have a slope of 3. Let me like letter them again. So instead of being like that one, you can say a letter. Do you see any that would have a slope of 3? D has a slope of 3. We want that. Oh, F has a slope of 3. Do you see any that wouldn't be? B has a slope of -3, so we don't want that one. How about A? If you add over this 3x, because you have to get y by itself to be able to tell. Well, it'd be y equals 3x plus 7. So is that a slope of 3? Yes, so we want that one. The others I would type in the calculator. So let me share my screen again. Oh, wait. So it's y equals 3x. If it was just y equals 3, that would be a horizontal line, but because the variable's in there, it's y equals 3x. Technically, it's y equals 3x plus 0, if you want to think of it as y equals mx plus b. Gosh, you guys have such good questions. I love it. All right, so let me type in these other ones. All right, so what was C? 3y equals... You could technically type all of them in the calculator too. We talked through some of them, but yeah, you could technically just type them all in. All right, let's find that. Is that a slope of 3? Up 3, right 1.
Yep.
Up 1, right 3. So that's not a slope of 3. So we do not want that one. So cross out that one. And then let me type the last one. But yes, you technically could just type them all in. X plus 3y equals 36. See if I can find it. All right, is that a slope of +3? No, you can tell it's not right away because it's what? Going down, so it's negative. So we don't want that one. So you can technically just type them in and look at them. All right, write in equations. This is like what we did on the first page. Parallel means what? Same slope. So what's the slope of this line? 2, right? So we want a slope of 2. And my suggestion is, once you decide that, scribble this out so that you're not tempted to go back and use any other part of that. Once you decide your slope is going to be 2, just cross that out. You have all the ingredients. You just need to put them in the right spot. Y minus which one of those numbers? Good. This is your y number. Now, if it's y minus -1, that would be y plus 1 equals 2 parentheses. Good. X minus -3. So it'll be x plus 3. Some of you gave up writing it down. We're only on question 9. So it's a very short study guide. Stick with me. All right, and then you have 2 steps. Distribute the 2. I feel like that's the same as the one we did on the front page, isn't it? It had a slope of 2. Didn't it come out to 2x plus 6? I feel like we did one like that.
No, 3x.
Or, oh yeah, that's right. It had all those 3s in it. 2x plus 6, and then what's your last step? Subtract 1. So it'll be y equals 2x plus 5. Hey, you know what? That bothers you guys way more than me. If you're awake and talking to me, I am so happy. All right? Write the equation of the line. Oh, what does this say? Perpendicular. The slope of this line is -4. So, oh, good. We want positive. Now you have to flip 4. Oh, good. 1/4. So you have to change the sign. So it was negative, we made it positive, and then reciprocate. So flip it. So instead of 4, it's 1/4. Then scribble this out because you don't need it anymore and you don't want it to confuse you. Kind words only. You have all the ingredients, just put them in the right spot. It'll be y minus which one of those numbers? So y minus -3, that'll be y plus 3, good, equals 1/4 minus 5. You're just taking all those numbers, putting them where they belong. And then you have 2 steps. Distribute. I'm going to be your calculator here. Okay. When you distribute that, it'll be 1/4 x minus 5/4. If you were to type 1/4 times 5 in the calculator, you would get 5/4. And then what would be your last step? -3. And again, I'm going to be your calculator here. You would type in the calculator -5/4 minus 3. It's going to be minus 17/4.
Oh, it's just 12.
Did you see what I did there?
Oh.
Because 3 is 12/4. So 5/4 and 12/4, 17/4. Anyway. All right. And then I think this is the last thing here are these scatter plots. I left a big space here so we could put the instructions. When you go to Delta Math, or I'm sorry, not Delta Math, Desmos, both begin with D. What is the first button you hit so that you can enter all of your data? Oh, good. Well, remember, plus sign, and you choose table, enter all the data, and then you're going to hit the magnifying glass. And then to get your equation, it's y equals mx plus b, but there's 2 changes. What's one thing you have to change? Tilde, because it's not a perfect equals equation, so it's like good enough. And then what's the other thing? Yeah, you have to put like the little ones with it. So it's y equals mx plus b, but you have to put ones and you have to put a little tilde instead. Now, when you go to type these ones, it's not in table form. All your x's are the x parts of the points. So 6, 8, 9, 16, etc. And then all your y's are all the y parts of the points. It's just they're written in coordinates instead of a table, but it means the same thing.
This is a good thing.
Yeah, it kind of is. You'll be okay though. You're not doing any work. It's just button pushing.
Still a great thing.
Yeah, I will not conceal from you that I actually don't like button pushing problems. They do frustrate me because it's cool because the calculator will do the answer for you. So that's kind of neat. But if you hit even one button wrong, then it's going to be wrong, which is frustrating to me. So just be extra careful. I'm going to pause the video here. Take your time, type it in and hit the magnifying glass, and it should look like what I have up here. Okay. The recording again. Okay, so once you have all that typed in, you're going to go here to the second box, and it's y equals mx plus b, except you need to put the ones in there and just use a tilde instead. And boom, it spits out the answer for you. Do you see m and b right here? You're together? Okay. I'm going to tell you to round to 1 decimal place. If you round differently, whatever, as long as you get the correct answer, I'm happy. Did you get, I got -0.5. Okay, and 30.28, which would round to 30.3. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and, write that on our paper. That's the answer. So it'll be y equals negative 0.5x. I immediately forgot what it was, 30.3. Okay, I can't have both screens up at the same time. That's it. That's the answer. That's literally all. Cool? All you got to do is type it in.
All good.
All right. One more of these. Let's go ahead and try it again. Go back to your calculator. And go ahead and type in the new data. You can type right over what was there. Now this one's actually in a table form, which is a little bit nicer. Oh gosh, what is this one about? Fat and calories and hamburgers and stuff? Right, I don't want to know. I mean, I guess sometimes it would be good to know. And it is nice that they have like dietary stuff, because if you're like diabetic or whatever, you need to know. Oops, I missed one. All right, and once you type it in, hit the magnifying glass again. And if you didn't delete this y tilde mx plus b, it'll still be in there. You won't have to redo it. So if you just don't delete that, it'll stay in there. Okay, so when we get all that typed in, do your y tilde mx plus b, we got 11.7 and 193.9. I'll come and look at yours in just 1 second. So it will be y equals. Sorry, can someone tell it to me? I can't have both screens up at the same time. It was 11 x and then plus, it was 190 something.
Negative 190.
Oh, negative?
Negative. I got negative 190.
Yeah, it's positive 193.9. I just looked back at it.
So what number did you take?
So it says using that equation, do a prediction. Look it, stay focused. We're almost done with this. We want to predict the calories in a sandwich with 22 grams of fat. Now look up here. Is grams of fat X or Y? X. Good. This is X. This is Y in your table. So what you want to type in is X equals 22. Find the intersection, click on it, and that'll give you your answer. So once again, you're not doing any work. The calculator's doing it for you. So go back to your calculator. Go down here, type it. Oh, you're already done with it. Hold on a second. X equals, what was it, 22? It'll put that line in, click on the intersection, and it'll even tell you 22 comma whatever. I got 451.9. Okay, thank you. So 451.9. Now you have to put units. It's 451.9 calories. There we go. Oh, you can put a y equals in front of that if you want to. But as long as you have the answer, I'm so happy that we're all good. And I'm telling you to round to 1 decimal place. If you round to 2 decimal places, like, fine. If your answer's right, I'm thrilled. Okay. And then this last one's a throwback question. You can type this in the calculator too. So go back to your calculator. Go ahead and clear out all of these. We don't need those anymore. You're going to type exactly what that is there. -4 absolute value. 3a minus 6 plus b squared. And then down here, put a equals -1/3 and b equals, what is it, -4?
Yeah.
And it will literally spit out the answer at you. I got -12. Is that? I typed it kind of quick though, so I'm sort of pausing there, but answer's right there, -12.